Hello, and thank you for this opportunity to present to you the module CN7026. My name is Gaurav Malik, and I'll be talking to you about the module and what it entails and how you can get the best out of the module. Now, I have a series of slides I'd like to share with you, so just bear with me for a moment. And using the power of the cloud, let's see if we can get this to work. Right, should be just a few more seconds. So hopefully now you should be able to see the slides on your screen. So as mentioned before, this is a presentation about the cloud computing, the module code, which is shared on the screen, which is a module that I lead. So let's go through the slides. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gaurav Malik. I'm the module leader for this particular module. And I'm also the course leader for a couple of the courses on which this module features. So some of you might have seen me during induction, enrollment, or some of the recruitment events that we did before. I'm also an AWS Cloud Ambassador. I also am a Microsoft Learn for Educators Ambassadors. And again, this shows you how important we take in certification and also making sure that our courses are industry ready. My research interests are in the area of computer science education, how to get the next generation of students to think about computer science as a career and also to encourage them to take up degrees and masters and computer science as an area to study or to work in. Smart cities, now this is quite an open area because again everything is smart, from smart cities, smart towns, smart homes. It's a very broad area, and again I'm interested in how to use cloud computing to make smart cities work, and obviously cloud computing. So in today's presentation I'll be talking to you, I'll give you a bit of a background of the module, always useful in what we'll be covering. I'll be talking to you about assessment, how do we do our labs and lectures, and the resources that you can use to try and help yourself. So the module consists of, in a way, it's kind of broken up into two different parts. Now, you can't study cloud computing without understanding data centers, right? So, and again, you might have heard about data centers quite a lot in, in the news. And again, they tend to get a bad reputation. But data centers have been changing over the years and they're becoming more and more efficient. But we can't have cloud computing without data centers. And so in the module, we look at what are data centers, what are the careers you can have in working with data centers, and how do you make data centers energy efficient. Then we're looking at cloud, right? So obviously we'll be looking at the three major platforms, which is AWS, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure. And in a way, it kind of gives you an idea of what are the different careers you can have as well. So while some of you might be software engineers who use cloud services, some of you might become cloud engineers who architect cloud solutions. Some of you will be people who work in Amazon, Google, creating the cloud services. And some of you might be DevOps engineers, right? Who work in data centers trying to deal with exciting stuff like virtualization, containers, Kubernetes, and all of that stuff. So again, it gives you a good feel about what is cloud computing. For the sessions, we'll have weekly labs and Q&A sessions, right? Something that you might be used to. And to make your life easy, a lot of the content is recorded to help you review before and after. Now, we do encourage you to look at the recordings prior to coming to the sessions because that is how you can get the best out of the module. Otherwise you'll end up, trying to catch up. Right? And the reason we do the recording is to make it easier for yourself. And you can always go back, go to the video again if there's something which which wasn't clear the first time round. And we'll talk to you a little bit about assessment in the next few slides. And this will be through a combination of lab activities, online quiz, and an individual report. This is the level 7 module, so there's an element of synthesis, required because we need you to be able not just to carry out tasks, in a mind-numbing manner, but also to understand what is it that you did. One of the value added about this course is that this course helps you prepare for multiple cloud certifications, which I'll be going through in a moment or so. So the teaching and assessment methods, right? So as I mentioned to you before, we'll have recorded lectures, right, which will be there for you to review, right? And they're not that long. And the beauty of recorded lectures is that you can do it in the comfort of your own home, wherever you happen to be. But like any other recorded lectures, this is not like watching a film. We expect you to, you know, have a notebook ready or anything else to jot down notes because these are technical lectures. But as I said, the advantage is that, if there's something that you didn't understand, you can always rewind and, play back again. One of the other benefits of recorded lectures is transcription and captions available. So if there's something, technical term which wasn't clear when I was speaking it, you're able to, look at the transcription and the closed caption to try and find that as well. The live Q&A is where we add a bit of interactivity and value to the session. And this is where once you've watched the recorded lectures, so hence the importance of watching the lectures, which if I've not mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. So once you've watched the recorded lectures, this is where you can come and have the Q&A with the team. You can ask questions, queries, we can discuss things. And this is where we add, interactivity to the sessions itself. Then we have live lab sessions. So the lab sessions will be live and you'll have an opportunity to work, to get hands-on experience on cloud platforms like GCP, Microsoft Azure and AWS. Because again, this is a hands-on module, it is very important to learn the practical skills. Wherever possible, we'll try to give you information on Moodle, which is our virtual learning environment platform, and we also use Teams as well. Now, what do we expect from you? Well, first of all, is to communicate effectively, right? It doesn't help when you ask queries, which is covered in the lecture. It's not, it's not a good use of your time or the teaching team's time. Try and help others wherever you can. Pass the coursework because, it's useful for yourself to help you progress on the course itself. Try to gain certification. And I think this is what I would say is one of the value added about this module. So do try to get as many certifications as you can. And in most cases, certifications through the partnerships that we have with AWS, with Microsoft Learn are for free. And obviously, to learn the valuable skills. So the lectures, as I said, are available on demand. So you need to ensure that you've seen the videos before the live Q&A. Otherwise you'll be asking questions that have already been covered, and it's not really a good use of people's time, right? And you might start getting flamed on the online sessions to say, hey, why did you not watch this in the lecture itself? The labs, do cover various cloud technologies and techniques. They are self-led, right? And again, what we have done to make your life easy, we have recorded the labs as well, so you can see, how to do the lab activity. And this, again, as I said, is there is a resource for you in case you get stuck. Maybe there's a command that you wrote incorrectly, right? So you can review the recordings of the lab as well. We're there to help you to do the lab. We've done these lab many times, so it's a bit boring for us and not as new, right? We're not there to do the lab for yourself. Now, it's very important that any lab query should be raised during the lab session. So these are technical labs. So we are there to help you during the live lab sessions. Once the lab session is over, you need to wait for the next week when the lab session takes place again. Now, this is not a 24/7 support helpline where if you don't finish the lab, then you're sending an email to the module team to say, this is not working. As you can appreciate with things which are very technical, there could be a variety of reasons why your lab activity may not work, which is why we encourage you to use the lab time to complete the labs. And we've written the labs in such a way that you are able to complete the lab in that time, right? So, and again, we use the terminology synchronous and asynchronous. So the labs are a synchronous activity, which means you need to do it there and then during the live lab session, right, which we have, whether it's face-to-face or online. The assessment. Now, the way we have tried, as I said, this is a master's level module, so it's not just a matter of doing the quiz. But again, quizzes are not as simple as people make it out to be. It depends on how you write the questions. So what we have is we've split the assessment into three different parts, and you need to pass all of these three different parts. So one of them is, I'll start from the bottom, right? So as I said to you before, it is the completion of the labs which demonstrate your skills. As I said, we have spent a lot of time and effort ensuring that you get hands-on skills with the module, right? So it's not just a theoretical module where you just cover a series of lectures and you just write a report, right? This, cloud computing is hands-on. So what we have within our course content are a series of labs which ask, which ask you to do certain activities. So it could be spinning up virtual machines, running databases, and all of these wonderful things. So you need to complete those labs, right? And in completing those labs, right, you get 40%. It's pretty good, isn't it? So in a way, by coming to the lab sessions on time, by completing your lab sessions on time, you've already gained 40% of that module, which I think is brilliant. What you have again within the content that we use are these things called AWS Cloud Academy, AWS Academy modules. And now these have quizzes which are there, right, which again help you gain an understanding of AWS content. So you complete those quizzes, which you again do during the lab time, that gains you an extra 20%. So by coming to the lab and doing these two different activities, you've already gained 60% of the marks required for the module. And yes, in this module, it is possible for you to get very high marks, because if you've done the lab, why should we not give you the full marks that you deserve? If you've done the AWS Cloud Academy modules, why should we not give you the marks that you deserve, right? The third part of the module is the report. Now, the report is a technical report in which I give you a scenario, and as a cloud solutions architect, you look at all the different skills and the technologies and the services that you've learned over the last 10 weeks in the module, and you come up with a solution, right? And it's about 1,500 words for the report. Now, once again, we'll give you past example of reports that you can look at. We'll give you, we'll run a session in which we go through, what are the things that we are looking for in the report itself. So a lot of guidance and information will be provided to you, right, which will help you write the report. So we're not, throwing you into the deep end and expecting you to swim. So we will give you a lot of the resources that you need to do this report. So as I said, so we're looking at two different things. So one is your ability to demonstrate that you've understood all of the things that we've taught and that we are able to assess through the cloud architecture report, but also your ability to do the hands-on activity, which is the labs and the AWS Academy modules. So when you join UEL, we mentioned that we take employment and employability skills. It's quite high up in the agenda, and again, they're very important to us. And this is one of the things that we talk about career progression. So one of the value added on this module is the ability for you to learn material from the two companies that we have partnership with. So we are part of Microsoft Learn, scheme, which is one of 20 universities in the country, by which we're able to give you access to Microsoft Learn content, which again is fully online, but also the ability for you to go and achieve Microsoft certification. Now, depending on the time that you'll be studying, sometimes the certification will be for free, sometimes there might be a very small charge. But again, it's the ability for you to try and gain these certifications, right, which just add value to yourself. So we have two partnerships. We also have a partnership with AWS Academy, right, or with AWS, which again have two schemes called AWS Academy and AWS Educate. And again, you'll be learning real life skills, real hands-on experience with AWS and with Microsoft Azure. And this gives you access to the content. It also gives you access to the learning materials, the practice exams, right? And AWS and Microsoft are one of the leading players in the cloud market. We also cover GCP, but certification in the GCP is not as well known or as pervasive as maybe with unlike Microsoft and Azure, Microsoft and AWS. Sorry. So what it gives you is the ability to get certified. So in the module, right, as I said, it depends on when you're studying this module and if there's any promotion running, we'll get you certified on one of the certifications. So that could be the Microsoft Certified Fundamentals in Azure, right, and the AWS Cloud Practitioner. So these are the two starting point certifications that we have to get you started on your certification journey, right? And we all know the certifications add value, right? They are the cherry on the cake here being your module itself. Now, so we keep on saying to our students, look here, you've learned all the content. There's no reason for you not to take the certification because you've studied it in the module. So all it takes a little bit of effort to try and get yourself prepared for the certification. The reason we have not included the certification at this present time in the module itself, because certifications you can take multiple times, but it's something that we are looking at doing later on. But as I said to you before, everything that you need to pass the certification is included in the course. So this is the value added that you have in the module. We'll give you the practice vouchers, we'll give you the examination vouchers, allow you to go and get yourself certified. And what happens then? Well, then you share it to the world. And this is just examples of some of our students who've gone on to get certifications, shouting about it using a platform like LinkedIn, right? So we have Meena, Devika, and they've got taken the certification as part of the module. And that is one of the things that they really liked of the module itself, right? So as I said, we'll get you started with the entry-level certifications in cloud with Microsoft and AWS, but there's nothing to stop you from going and getting more certifications as you go along, right? And if you have certification, it just adds to your skill set. It adds to it allows you to showcase to the world that you have mastered this particular area. So how do you get help, right? Very often we get asked this question. Well, one of the things that we do is, you speak to the tutors. As I said to you before, if you remember, anything with the lab needs to be dealt during the lab session, right? And that's why we have the labs which are live. So whether it's delivered face-to-face or online, that is where we go from being a huge module of X number of students to being a smaller session of about 20 odd students. So your lab tutor are very much part of the team, right? They understand what's going on, right? And they're the best people there to answer any question that you have with the module. We also have a module Q&A document, which would ask you to look at, right? So again, please refer to it before to see if the answer, if the question has already been answered before. And if your question is not on the module Q&A documentation, right, do not email, or message the teaching team directly, right? Please use this email that you have, right? And someone from the module team will respond, right? So very often what we find, the questions that we get asked are the same questions, like, when is the coursework due in? How do I do this lab? And all of these questions have been answered in the manual. So we'd encourage you to read the module Q&A document before you send an email, because every email takes time to respond to, right? So again, you can make our life easy. So we are spending our time teaching you content and not just responding to messages for which answers already exist. So how to succeed in the module, right? I'm sure you all want to get high marks in this module, right? So how do you succeed in the module? Well, ensure that you attend all the live Q&A sessions, right? Because that is where we talk about the content that was recorded before. Ensure that you see the recorded lectures before the live Q&A sessions, right? And there's no excuse for you not to be able to see the recorded lectures, because they're available at least a week or a few days before. You can review it, from wherever you have an internet connection, right? And again, through closed caption, through transcription, through the ability to replay the video, there's no excuse for you not to do that. Ensure that you complete your lab task on a weekly basis, right? So don't let things build up. So if you are doing lab number 9, ensure that you're on time and on track, because it just makes it very difficult for us to keep on going back to previous sessions. So as I said, the labs form part of the assessment. So if you do the labs on time, you'll be helping yourself. Complete all the assessment in time, right? So whether it be the labs, whether it be the module, right, that allows you to keep on track and you don't end up building things up for very late. And for many of the tasks, we will have deadline to keep you on track as well, right? So, just make sure you do things on time. Ensure that you communicate with the module team effectively, using the platforms that we have. So use the mailbox that we've set up, use the discussion channel of Teams. And as I said, there are loads of opportunities where you get to meet the teaching team face to face, whether it be online or in real world, right? So ask the questions there. Don't be disengaged. And these are very simple things. So again, it might sound very simple and obvious, and for the people who have had to the unfortunate event where they had to repeat the module is because they failed in one or many of these things. So the module is not rocket science. It's quite straightforward. It's an exciting module. You will learn hands-on technologies which will allow you to join the workforce in the area of cloud computing. So I hope you found this recording useful. I hope you are looking forward to the module. Well, I certainly am looking forward to be teaching you. And I want to thank you again for your time. And I hope to see you very soon.